Welcome to lesson 2 of our Spring Security course. So this is the lesson 2 of module 3, and in this lesson I am going to talk about a core concept of a Spring Security authentication mechanism, which is a user detail service. And for most of the application, I think 80% of the application or a web application, you will be using a one or another variation of a user detail service, right? So in a typical applications, as I said, right, 80% of the applications are where you provide your username and password, and those will be authenticated. And then you should be able to log in, or if those are not valid credentials, you will get a error message, right? Now the thing is, Spring Security does not know how you are basically storing the information, because during a registration you might be kind of processing the data, or you might be enriching the data. So for example, I'm saving an email ID, and you might be appending something in order to, or you might be doing some kind of encoding to the email ID before storing it, right? And then once you want to fetch it out, you already know that what is the encoding mechanism or what you have appended and all sort of different things, right? There can be a number of variations how you are parsing or how you are storing the data, and Spring Security does not know about that. So how does, during the login process, ultimately it needs a user object, right? And that user information reside into the database. So how do Spring Security will get that information? Because without that information, it cannot run the authentication and authorization process. So it needs that object, and then it can take a call whether you have a valid credentials or you are authorized and all sort of things. So the first step of this process is loading the user information from the database or your underlying storage system. That can be a different one, but I'm talking about right now is majority of the case where you are storing that information in your application database. All right. So in order to do that, so Spring Security has a core interface. We call it as a user details service interface, right? So in this lesson, I'm going to talk about what user detail service is. Why do we need a user detail service? I already talked about that one. Different options for a user detail service. So there are multiple variation, and I'm going to quickly talk about those one. And then how to use a user detail service, right? Once you declare it, define it, how should be using it, right? So in terms of different options for a user detail service, normally when you start your journey in a Spring Security lessons, right, you basically use a in-memory authentication provider. And just to set the context right, I'm still assuming that you have a basic understanding of how authentication provider works, because user detail service works hand in hand with the authentication provider. So you probably not going to use user details service directly, but it is used indirectly by the Spring Security. So you should have a good understanding of the authentication provider, right? All right. So just to give you an idea what it is, so this is the interface, and the interesting thing is this interface has only one read-only method. When I'm saying a read-only method, that it only reads the data from the database. Spring Security is not expecting to write back anything into the database, right? That's one of the other beauty of the Spring Security, that it's just a read-only thing. And if you look into this discussion, that's what I was talking about. There are an n number different ways how you're storing a data, right? So you are the best person to know how to load that information back from the database and hand it over to Spring Security. The only difference is your user object might be something different. So once you load the user object, you have to basically convert it into the user details object. Okay. And this user detail again is an interface provided by Spring Security. Again, you have the flexibility. You can create your own user detail object, and then you can also pass some additional information. Most of the application will end up creating a custom user detail object. We will be going to talk about that one, but this lesson is focused on using the out of the box thing, right? So the out of the box Spring Security provides you this user class, which for us for now it will going to kind of fulfill our needs, right? So now you are supposed to provide an implementation, and this implementation is going to be very simple. We will talk about few things, but you are basically, you know how to load the customer information or a customer object from the database. So the first thing what we are doing is we have a custom user repository and we are loading the information from the database. If the user is null, we throw this standard username not found exception, and Spring Security know how to handle it. So in short, you will get that invalid username and password exception. But if it exists, you basically create this user object class passing certain information. For now, I'm keeping it very simple, passing authority, hard-coded authority as user. Once we get into the authorities and authentication things, we will change it. All right, and we are going to revisit this class a lot to kind of customize it. All right. Now, so this thing is done and it's very standard, straightforward. You have to create a user detail object, and now because I am using out of the box class, I am using the builder. But once we create our own user object, we know how to fill the data. So ultimately, you need what is the email, what is the password, if the account is enabled and disabled, and all sort of things. So we will talk about that one, but the end goal, I'm sure that you understand it. Now we have defined this one. How do we use it? So let's go back to our application security file, that is our custom one. So if you remember from our previous discussions, or especially onto the authentication provider, you know that we have an authentication manager which basically have the information about what are the different authentication providers, right? And then those authentication provider know how to authenticate the user. So we are configuring, or we are basically setting up a authentication manager. Within this authentication manager, we are telling this authentication manager that, hey, use the DAO authentication provider. This is out of the box authentication provider, by the way. All right. And this DAO authentication provider needs certain information, and one of them is a user detail service. So if you see, we have basically injecting it as a user detail service, right? And now we are telling this DAO authentication provider that, hey, when you are authenticating a user, use this user service to load the information. Correct. So once you fill your username and password, Spring Security interceptors or a filter will get into a picture. They pass the control to authentication manager. Authentication manager is going to use the DAO authentication provider, and DAO authentication provider is going to use the user detail service, right? Seems a little kind of a lot of things are going on. So let me help you with a standard workflow there. This is a high level of a workflow, and as I said again, you make sure that you know how this authentication provider stacks work. Otherwise, everything will be confusing for you, right? You will not get an understanding how this user service is being used, right? So now what happens is you fill your username and password and you hand it over to the Spring Security. So Spring Security will get into a picture. It create that username and authentication token, and then ultimately the control will be onto the provider manager or authentication manager. This authentication manager, this one, it basically have an information about what are the different authentication providers available for your application and which one should be used for this particular case. All right. So in this case, if you remember from our this configuration, we are telling that use a DAO authentication provider, right? So within the DAO authentication provider, we have injected our custom user detail service, right? So now DAO authentication provider have information that for loading the user detail, I should be calling the custom user detail service. So once you provide all those details, ultimately DAO authentication provider will be called, and it is going to call our custom user detail service and will load the user information. So this is the entire workflow that happens behind the scenes for you, right? And there can be multiple authentication providers, there can be a multiple authentication manager, but we will be going to talk about those in our advanced lesson. Now I think we have enough of how it works, what is the theory, how the workflow look like. Just to end this lesson and to give you a better clarity, I'm going to put certain debugger points and will explain you how this entire kind of a stacks work together. Application got started, I have put a debugger point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a valid username and password, right? And remember that authentication or user detail service does not care about the password. That will be verified and validated by Spring Security, and I'm not going to talk about that one. If you are interested, go back to the authentication provider lesson, so that will give you a better understanding. All right, so let's click on a sign in. Okay, so as you can see, the control is with our custom user detail service. But before that, let's see how the calling is happening. Okay, so this is our DAO authentication provider. If you see this one, right? And we configure this DAO authentication provider, correct? Now this DAO authentication provider, let me do that one for you. Okay. So this DAO authentication provider is calling a user detail service and load user by username and passing that username. Now, if you remember, Spring Security provides only an interface, and we are supposed to provide the implementation for user detail service interface, and that is what happening in our DAO authentication provider. We are telling this authentication provider that for a user detail service, use our service. All right, let's go back there. Okay, so now it basically calling our user detail, and based upon user detail it takes different calls. Okay, so but our focus is on to the user detail service. Right now, if you see, this is our custom code which knows how to load the customer detail. Right now, in this one we got the customer object and all the different things, right, with the password and all those things. Now this if condition will be false, and then the rest of the things will be taken care, right? So we basically now are building a user detail service and sending it. The similar thing, if you provide an invalid email which does not exist into our system, all is going to happen is system is going to throw the user detail or a user not found exception, and DAO authentication provider already know what to do in that one, right? So this is an overall idea about how the user detail service works, though it's not very visible when you work on a Spring Security. But remember that the entire authentication mechanism is dependent on this user detail service, and make sure that you understand it and what are the different mechanism and what are the different things you can do in this user detail service, right? In the next chapter, I'm going to talk about this user detail object, because this is an interesting thing. Ultimately, once the authentication happen, this will be stored into the authentication. So let me tell you. So this is a create successful authentication, right? And ultimately, if you see, this create successful authentication pass this user object, and this user object is nothing but the user details, right? And it always will be there. So once you want to get the authentication object, you will have information about that user object, right? So in next lesson, I'm going to talk about this user details thing, how it is being used by the Spring Security as an authentication object, and what are the different things we can do, or why we should be customizing it, right? I hope you like this lesson and this series, and if you do, don't forget to share this lesson with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.